Jed Hoyer, the Cubs team president, has made it clear that the Cubs are still far from done as far as building their roster goes. Still, they're running out of time before spring training and before they head over to Japan to play the Dodgers to open the season. We're going to talk about a pitching option as some rumors pop up that the Cubs may be interested in making another trade with Houston. And the Cubs picked up another catcher, someone in the minor leagues, but a little bit of depth in that area. All that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you for being here. Go Cubs. Let's get the show started. Hey, say guys, and welcome to the Daily Show. Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball channel, and it is a privilege to talk to you about the Cubs today. I love doing it. Brought to you by DraftKings. Take advantage of our DraftKings deal, and why wouldn't you, right? $5 down, get you $200 in bonus bets, so take advantage of that. We'll talk about that later on in the show. All right, let me get right into it. Yesterday, after the Cubs missed out on Tanner Scott to the Dodgers, now what's the next move? And we were talking yesterday about some relievers that they could possibly go after. Carlos Estevez would probably be the best. Kyle Finnegan was one of those guys. Kenley Jensen. We got into that list, so you can watch the show, which was yesterday's, about that. And who knows, maybe the Cubs will end up there. But then all of a sudden, the Athletic starts reporting yesterday that the Cubs are interested in making a deal for Ryan Presley. So maybe this is kind of where they're at right now. Maybe they make another trade with Houston and get Presley. Now, Presley has been a guy that in the past closed games, but I wouldn't consider him a closer anymore. But, he's someone that makes sense. A former Red Sox. The Cubs love the former Red Sox. 11th rounder, 2007, out of Flower Mound High School in Texas. Flower Mound, Texas, and Marcus High School in the Lone Star State. But the Dallas native is someone who has gone back home to pitch for the Astros, started his career in the big leagues with Minnesota, and started closing games out for Houston 2020. And that year, in that limited season, he had 12. The next year he came back and had 26, and then two really big years, right? 22 and 23, 33 and 20 and 31 saves. But last year pitched a lot, but wasn't the closer. Had a 3.59 ERA, so the stuff was still there. 59 games, only had 4 saves. Would the Cubs move him back to that closer role, or would he be a guy who the Cubs look at and say, hey, you know what? It just get us to the end of the game. And, we'll worry about it. Was he 36 years old? We'll worry about the rest of it later. And that's, if you put enough good arms in the back of the bullpen, you feel comfortable enough to do that, right? So what would the deal be to get him? The Cubs already traded Cam Smith. And I saw a list of the top third base prospects, and Smith's already number 3 on the list. And I talked about this, unless you categorize, and I know that, this MLB pipeline did, they had Matt Shaw as a third baseman. I don't know if he's a third baseman, but, he's played some third, but they had him as the second best prospect in that group. Cubs traded away their current third baseman and then their future third baseman to get an outfielder, and they got a lot of outfielders. So there's some more moves that are going to have to be made for this roster to make sense to me. And I think that, we'll find out there. But are you willing to give up premier prospects, second level prospects? And if you're Houston, what are you willing to take for, someone that can come in and get you outs, and just because they're not going to have Bregman and they're not going to have Tucker doesn't mean that they don't think they can contend. But if they're going to contend, they're going to have to get outs. So I think that makes him interesting, although it feels like it is a little bit of a rebuild for Houston right now. The pro football playoffs are rolling on. Going to be a pretty fun Sunday. Old school matchup, Philadelphia and Washington going head-to-head in the NFC. And then kind of a new school battle between Kansas City and Buffalo. This has become like the biggest rivalry in football. And now's the time for you guys to take advantage of what I was telling you before. And that's our deal with our partner, DraftKings. We've got just a few games left this season with 8 teams battling it out to make the conference championships. Get in on the action right now with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. They are offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. Don't let this slip away. Download the DraftKings app now and sign up using our promo code CBC. The crown is yours. Stay in on all the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at even bigger payouts. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code CBC and bet $5, just $5 on any wager, and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code CBC only at DraftKings Sportsbook. But finally, the Cubs have signed another backup catcher. This was a theme that we saw a lot last year, and that is something that we're seeing this year. And honestly, I think it's a great idea when you look at the organizational catching depth that they have, although I'm sure that in their mind they're hoping that maybe sometime soon Pablo Aliendo or Moises Ballesteros would be viable options for them at the major league level. But they went out and signed former Red Sox Reese McGuire to a minor league deal. So McGuire, you guys might remember, former first-round pick out of Kentwood High School, Covington, Washington, back in 2013 by the Pirates, right? So he was like the 14th pick overall that year and came in with a bunch of hype, but just never really got the bat going. He eventually broke into the big leagues 2018 with Toronto. And, has never been much of a hitter in limited action in 2019. He did bat .299, had his best year offensively, I would say, in 23 with Boston and respectable .267 batting average, but that included a home run and 16 batted in. So he's a soft hitting catcher, but gives you the flexibility on the roster because he's not on the 40 man to go out there and, obviously give you some depth. We saw it, a few years ago where the Cubs didn't have any depth. And so signing a 29-year-old that is, a really good defender, or pretty good defender is, I think, a great risk management move, some insurance as this team moves forward. And I don't see him making the roster, but look, if somebody got hurt in spring training, so much time, you could possibly see him being someone that could jump in and help the team. So anyway, that's the move though. We'll keep an eye on this thing as we get closer and closer to February 9th and pitchers and catchers reporting. And if things don't start to pick up soon for the Cubs, they're going to be in spring training making deals to add to the roster. And I think that's just kind of where we are right now in the world of baseball. And that was something that I heard Jed Hoyer talk about in an interview, saying basically, hey, it's the way that things are set up. He's like, there's still 100 guys out there that could help you win, some pretty good players. And their game plan is to sit back and wait on the market and maybe make some deals late. So maybe this roster, and look, I've heard people say that they feel like that this roster could contend for a World Series. I'm not there yet, but they're a couple moves away from me feeling pretty comfortable about where this thing could go. And I have to say some bullpen help. And obviously we've got to figure out what we're doing at third base. And if Nico Horner isn't ready to go at second at the start of the season, what's that going to look like? So, and they're saying that I'm hearing mixed reports on when he's going to be ready to go or not. So get in the comments section, guys. Thank you for being here as always. Share with your Cubs friends and appreciate it so much. that you're a part of what we do here on the channel. And again, support DraftKings. They support us. First real partner on the channel. And so I'm pretty proud of that. You know, started this thing with you guys, started doing shows every day, and then turn around and here we are, you know, over 6,000 subscribers and still grinding. So thank you for being part of the family, and go Cubs.